Awesome. Welcome to Tea Time with Amy and Bev.
Good morning.
Good morning. So we're live streaming this morning for the first time in over a year that we're going to, not only are we recording this to be out in the world on Thursday, it's Tuesday, so out in the world on Thursday, but we are doing something special. Shannon Arnold is with us, so I want to give a shout out to her. Thank you for joining us. That we have a Facebook group. It's called Amy and Bev Community. And so we are live streaming into that group on Tuesday morning now so that they get first dibs as to see what we are doing and talking about. And then Thursday when it comes out, with the recording on YouTube and our Facebook page, Amy and Bev. And then we are on Spreaker, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Google Podcasts, Podcast Addict, and YouTube. You can share from any of those platforms or send your friends and family to those platforms to listen to us if you feel guided to. If you feel the information we bring forward is beneficial. May or may not be. That's okay. We have our organic conversations. There's no pre-planning, no premeditated, nothing. We just show up on Tuesday, unless another designated time is needed because we both have other things going on that we just have a conversation. So whatever comes up, and that's just the way it is.
That's just the way it is.
So yeah. What's going on, Miss Bev?
I would say what I'm noticing, like even today and yesterday, heavy energy. There's like heavy, dense energy. That's what I'm noticing for myself. I don't know, like everything was fine yesterday morning. And then it's like, I noticed just a heavy, dense energy. I feel like we're in a space right now where a lot of this energy is coming forward to kind of, it's to cleanse it. It's to clear it from yourself. So things that you thought you dealt with, and which is kind of strange because we're on a new moon, right? Or we just had a new moon. What is it?
We're in the new moon.
We're in the new moon. So
today.
Today. Okay. But that's interesting. That's interesting because that I started, and normally I don't notice any shift in energy, especially a new moon. New moon is like, creating new stuff. How do you want to see your life? Like all these things. So I've just noticed a little bit heavy, and I've noticed some things are coming to the surface, and some of the stuff I'm not sure how to process. So then I just I'm doing the same thing we've been talking about. I ask for my guides and my higher self to kind of lead me because they know exactly what's best for me. Because sometimes when you're in the muck of things, you don't recognize what would be ideal for that situation, although we're great at giving out information to someone else when it comes to like, hey, I can flow this information right over to you right now. I do it all the time.
Yep. I hear you. I don't know right now. It could be because this past week I've been in a creative flow, which is, I hadn't really thought about it. I have the new moon and full moon is in my calendar. I put it in there for every month. I think it's a year out now, and hadn't really thought about it toward middle to the end of last week that the new moon was today. Today's September 7th, by the way. That's when we're recording this. Okay. That I got in a creative mode last week. And it was like, I needed freshen up our master bathroom. And so new painted the cabinets, the trim, the walls, the ceiling, like the whole shebang. And shout out to my mother-in-law and my hubby for helping me with that. But also bringing in color. So one day this week, I'm going to go do some shopping to get some color to put in there. I know and I recognize like I'm lacking that in my own life, in my environment, not my life, but in my environment. That when I went from being depressed all the time and doing the healing process colors got more vibrant. The more present I was in my moment, the more vibrant colors got. And we've talked about this, like my wardrobe used to be black, white, and gray. That's pretty much where I wore every day because I was depressed. So, but the more that eased and I was in my present moment, the more the colors got vibrant and the more attracted I was to colorful clothes. Like this pattern would not be in my wheelhouse then. No way, no how. It would be solid black, solid gray, right? Solid colors. And so things start getting more vibrant. And I've really been looking around my house lately for a while actually, and I'm like, I'm missing something. Something is missing. And I had a reading recently from a lady, and she's like, you need color. I feel like your house needs more color. And I'm like, yes. So since she said that, I'm like, okay, well, what's the easiest easiest room I could start with? And it was like one bathroom, our, second bathroom's already been done, which is great. I like the energy in there. My office was done. So now the master bathroom. And so what I did is I went on Canva, it's at canva.com, and in there you can create like it's called a branding board, but you can use it like a vision board or dream board or color board. But in there, it's called a branding board. So I went in there and I started getting pictures off the internet of the colors that I want, and so created this color board. And now I had the vision, and I sat a couple. It was like I don't know. It was like a Sunday night. I sat and I was pulling these pictures off the internet and putting them on this color board in Canva. And so my mind was focused on that and on those colors, right? The next day, no, 2 days later, my mother-in-law and I went out shopping. We went to like 45 minutes away to go shopping. And as we were traveling, huge, like, the rock haulers, big trucks, huge, right?
Yes.
So one of the colors that I want to put in my bathroom is like a teal or vibrant teal, turquoise. This whole freaking truck was that color. I'm not kidding you. It was hysterical. I'm like, I've never seen a truck that big, that color. And I just was like, that's how the mind works, right? And then I saw it periodically through the day in other vehicles or signs, or it was just fun to see that. So with that creative energy flow, what I was getting at is that the new moon, like you said, is like creativity and bringing things to you. And so I've been in that flow. Now, that's been great. 3 days, it was 3-day weekend. So Labor Day weekend, 3 days, I didn't spend any time on the computer.
Nice.
Like my laptop, I would typically sit and work on it and do things. We worked all day for Saturday, Sunday, Monday. We worked all day on the bathroom, and didn't get on my laptop once, and it was amazing. I was like, am I missing something? Was there something I was supposed to do? I kept checking my calendar to make sure I didn't forget anything, like anything urgent. So I was just like, So use the new moon energy to be creative, to get into that flow of things, to bring things to you. What I have noticed though for myself, when you talk about heavy energy, I would say it's not the heavy energy I'm feeling right now. It's frustrated energy. And I'm frustrated because here we are, we're going on over a year and a half of all the political BS, all the distractions that the news says, okay, this is happening over here, now focus on this. And it's not like this has been going on for years and years and years, and we know that. But now it's bigger focus, it's bigger drama, right? So focus on this. That's what the news reports, because that's how we operate, is on drama. Everybody wants to know what's going on, what's wrong, what's the problem. Focus on this, while over here, our people in power or in control, or government or leaders, whatever you want to title them, are over here drumming up new laws, new rules, and getting them passed, or attempting to get them passed. And we can keep the public, the people, distracted over here with what the news is reporting and what we're telling the news to report and all this stuff, right? While over here, the underlying things are happening. My frustration is that we, as the people of the United States, instead of coming together with a solution, not only individually things that we could do, but things that we could do collectively without the harm towards other people or other people's livelihoods, meaning stop burning the fucking buildings, stop burning the businesses, stop it. People have put a lot of hard work and time and energy into their businesses to get them going so that they can operate them to provide an income and a means for their family. So just stop doing that. That is ridiculous to me. What can we do collectively to come together to, in a healthy manner, protest or write letters or what? I'm not a political person, and you know that. Like, I very seldom talk politics, but I'm at that stage now. Like, I am frustrated that all we're doing is focusing on problems. All we're doing is focusing on the drama. All we're doing is creating more drama. We keep putting the energy into talk about the problem, talk about the problem, talk about the problem. I'm over the fucking problems. I'm that frustrated about it. I'm over the fucking problems. What are the solutions? And that's where I feel like our energy would be much more beneficial, is if collectively we said, what is a solution? What is it? If we kept asking that question, it's just like you keep talking about, like, I keep asking the universe, what, right? What is, okay. We as the community, the population of the United States is like, we used to be, can't say that we completely are now, but we used to be a really powerful country. But now, with things that have been happening over the past year and a half, a lot of divisiveness, a lot of separation, a lot of, we want to end racism, but that's still happening because now we're being if you have a vaccine or don't have a vaccine, I'm against you if you don't, right? Or you're an idiot if you got it, right? It's just the viewpoints of individual people. And if we started changing the question or changing the focus off the problem to what is a solution that we can do together? What is a solution? I mean, we went from, it's like people forget, we've gone from one topic to the next, to the next, to the next. And it's been, first, it was the, okay, COVID happened, now the pandemic, now there's isolation, then there's the racist issues, then there was this huge thing about locusts, and then what was it? I think there was a tsunami in there. I mean, it's just been one thing after another. Now, we can't control the nature, right? We can't control what nature does. even though I feel like that's a representation of our collective energy. But we just recently, we went from, okay, we're focused on Afghanistan and all the stuff that happened there. Now we're focused on women's rights of their body. There's been no break in between each topic. It's bam, 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 bam. And it's like, we energetically, we have to change our focus. In that, just one thing that I'm aware of, because I did look into it, one thing that I was aware of is that I was scrolling through Facebook. There was somebody, I don't even know the person who posted it, but they talked about how it's called the American Family Plan that Joe Biden is attempting to pass, which is supposed to be a very wonderful package, with the exception of, in there, it talks about wanting to create more assurance that taxes are being paid by the people. And a way to ensure this is to give the IRS more access to our financial information. So they would have access to all our information from our financial institutions, what goes into the accounts, what is taken out of the accounts, how you're spending your money, or how you're receiving your money, and your loans, and I mean, just all our financial stuff. And it's in this American Family Plan that is supposed to be some super duper wonderful thing for the people, with this little bit in there about allowing the IRS more access to our financial stuff. So we're going to keep you distracted over here on Afghanistan and women's rights. And in the meantime, we're working on this package over here, right? That's the type of distractions that's been going on for a very long time. And it's getting more, and I have to speak for myself, getting more interested in our way of being in this country.
So I'm going to stop you here. So from my perspective, that's a 3D world problems that they've highlighted or made bigger to get people more wrapped in. We talked last week about the separation, and the separation really comes from within. We can look outside of us and see all these things, but really, if you were to go into meditation, that's where you're going to find the solutions. If you're following your intuition is going to guide you. What is the proper next step? What is the proper solution to this? Everything you've said feels so uncomfortable. It does. So that right there, that is a heaviness to me. And that is also, we can sit and say it's the what isness, and I can say that we could ignore all this. And I don't think it's a matter of ignoring it. I think that we know that we're powerful as an individual. And I think that some of us know, and some of us are even learning more that we're so much stronger than all that stuff, stronger, powerful. But it's being obligated to your daily practices. You're being in center. You're not being on the computer. When you said that you weren't on the computer, that's awesome, because there's so much stuff that's going on right now, and it's the separation because they want fear. Separation isn't just amongst us. Separation is within ourselves. Separation from our connection to the creator of all that is, the universe, whatever you want to call it. That's where separation comes from. By getting caught up into all that stuff, and I'm not saying that it's not happening, because it is. I've seen some stuff too, and it's like we talked last week, I could go on the Telegram, which is another like Instagram, but it's like not filtered, and you get all kinds of information, and it's like I can go on there for 5 minutes and get off there and be like, fuck this, I'm going to go get my gun, come on my property, and I'll put a fucking bullet in your head. Because that's the kind of energy that I'm feeling. But these people that are going around burning and stuff, they feel someone pushing against them. They're empathic people and don't realize they're just automatically reacting and pushing against. It's a process of learning. If that's in your experience and you're seeing it, then it's like, what are you pushing against? I honestly feel like it all comes from within. Is there beautiful things happening in the world? Yeah, there's people coming together. Yeah, they can go ahead and start monitoring more things, but it just puts us in a different place of bartering. Okay, so if I'm going to provide a massage, then this is what we're going to do, and this is how we're going to do it. Oh, you want to take my license away? Okay, well, go ahead. Because guess what? I've already got the skills. I've already got the skills. I already know how to do it. I don't care. That is me taking my power back. It's not giving it away to someone else, because everything that you were saying is like so giving power away to the current administration, what's going on. I just feel like there's such a separation that's going on there, and the separation is from within us, because we have separation. We have this duality within us. It's as simple as, I want money and I'm going to do this, and then, oh gosh, I don't have enough, I shouldn't do that today. I mean, it's just as simple as that. I feel I'm using money as an example because a lot of people can understand that. But it's like, where's your energy at? How does it feel? We can't find solutions in a heavy energy. You just can't. So I just don't believe that's possible. That's two different wavelengths. That's two different frequencies. So it's like, if we want to get there to solutions, it's finding groups that get together. And to me, it's like you're meditating together. You're starting with your meditation, and then you're like, okay, guys, hey, what solutions do you see out there? I'm getting goosebumps right now, so I know that I'm right. I've been following another person that I found on another person's page that I find some people might be like, oh, that's just crazy talk, going from 5D to 7D, but we're there. And that's why this 3D stuff is showing up even more. It's because it's trying to distract you away from 5D and 7D, because that means that they don't have control over you, because they can't operate from 5D or 7D. They can only operate from 3D. That sounds crazy, but they can only operate from the fear space. So if I want to call 3D a fear space, they can only operate from that space. They can't operate from the creative space, because they're losing control. And the big deal here is they are losing control. And that's whoever you want to put yourself around. I have gone around a few people, and it's like, there's been some things that I'm not going to discuss on here right now that have transpired that is like, how the hell is that happening right now? Just rules and laws are being bent all across everything. But it's not, for us not to get so caught up in that. It's like, when you see that stuff, what do you want to create from that? So as I was saying, this other person I'm following recently, that's like, blows my mind as far as energy and stuff goes. It's like, we are in a time-space reality right now that we can create the things we want. We are creators, and all that stuff is what is, or fear-based. It's all control. And it's also, just like we were talking about last week, it's not having control over everything to control it. We think we got to control our controls. We think everything's, and it's not our fault. That's something we learned, but we're learning to step away from it. And the more of us that can step away from it, and it can be witnessed, and people can see, oh, they're happy. Like, they're happy. Like today, I called to make an appointment for a person, and they said you had to wear a mask. Well, that's not my preference. So I'm sorry, I'd go ahead and cancel the appointment. Thank you for your time. I didn't mean to waste it, but I appreciate that they were honest and upfront about it, because I would have been probably a little perturbed when I showed up, because I wouldn't have gone in. I'm a maskless person, period. You're going to see my face because I'm a person and I have a voice. And to me, that's just another way of suppressing. It's another way of, it's like playing video games and killing people. You don't have any feelings towards it or association. You kind of get a disassociation, but you still go out and do it. And to me, having people wearing masks and stuff are taken away from their expression of their face and their voice, and it's suppressing, and people don't seem to realize that. But I don't expect everybody to understand that. It's their journey and their place. But for us that do understand, and for us that do have this amazing power, let's use it. let's create groups. The person that she was like, how do you see your world? Like, I mean, if we're in this 5D and 7D area, what are you creating? Like, what are you creating? You're creating, what do we see right now? We see division. So we're creating unity, but unity with expression, because it's all right for people to have their own opinion. It's all right. It's all right for someone to be, there's nothing wrong with that, because you're just offering up, you don't have to be the same as everybody else. You're offering up new information. You're offering up new ways. It's finding new ways to be able to proceed through this. So seeing all that stuff, it's like, okay, well, how can I see it? How could it be in my world? Well, in my world, people are walking around without masks. They're maskless all the time. I go to the store, I see people all the time. Even the people that have had the bond, they're still smiling, and I'm still smiling at them because I can see it in their eyes if we take the time to look. It's just really, how do you want to spend your time? How do we want to spend our time? Do I get wrapped up in the bullshit sometime? Oh yeah, I do. Like I said, I just want to go out and pop a cap in someone's ass, but what does that solve? Then I'm just matching right at that 3D. I'm matching right at that fear level. I'm reacting. I'm back to that fight or flight. I'm in that fear space. I'm not in the, let's take some deep breaths. Let's open up that body, because when you stop for a second and you realize that you're in a space where you're feeling like that, you notice your breathing. Your breathing is shallow. It's cut off. You are now cutting yourself off from your connection to divine source, to the creator, to your angels, to whatever you're looking for. And I've recognized it too many times on a daily basis, like, oop, just dipped out.
Mhm.
And it's all right. We pat ourselves on the back, but it's like, we got to keep moving forward. The only way, I mean, I say you don't have to, you can do whatever you want. You can stay in a space where you're at. People can stay in a fear base. People can stay in that fear because that fear is controlling, or they can start doing their inside work and finding out what's going on and recognizing how powerful you are on an individual. That's what we've lost sight of. We are all so very powerful by ourselves, just by ourselves. And then you add a mix of people with the same growth ideas, the same high vibrational frequency, and some that are higher, so it pulls you up higher, so you can feel what it feels like. And it's like, that's a force to be reckoned with, because then all the other stuff doesn't matter. It's just like sweeping out that dust out of the house. That's all. Getting out the cobwebs, like we talked about before. Those are just old cobwebs that have been hanging around, and they're still with these old spiders that are still trying to scare us, because they've been doing it forever. I mean, it's been going on forever.
Yep. Yeah, I agree. I agree with what you've said. And I love it.
Oh, awesome.
And my solution, so contemplating what could I do to be solution oriented. A couple weeks ago, in a Facebook group that I have, I did a like a world awareness type meditation, and I didn't do it last week because I needed to rest. So that's my solution collectively, is to raise the vibration, is to help people raise their vibration, and to come together for 15-20 minutes once a week to do that. So that's how I'm contributing to a solution.
Very awesome.
And I just want to say that I posted on my personal page about the IRS stuff, because I actually went in. I didn't take, the Facebook post to heart to say, oh, this is happening, and fly off the handle. I went and checked it and read it. And so I took some information that was directly out of the document, and I used that. But what I posted was along the lines that, pretty much what I was saying is that we, the people, it's time for us to come together. It's time for us to be solution oriented. They want us to be distracted. They want us to be focused on all these different things. But it's time to shift our energy. It's time for us to think differently And thinking differently means we need to focus on a solution, not the problem. And so here's what I said. If you have any solution-oriented comments, please post them. Otherwise, anything besides a solution-oriented comment, keep it to yourself. I had one person post on that. And it said, I don't have a solution, but I understand what you're saying. Do you know, I have a lot of Facebook friends, right? One person posted on it. When you ask for solution-oriented mindset and one person posts, I was like, what does that tell you? That is just, that amazed me. And I posted it like that for a reason, to see what kind of response would come. So shifting, and it probably is just that people don't know what that means, to shift their mindset. I would say mindset to being solution oriented, because they've been problem focused for so long. And I get that, because that's where I was when I was in my depression. I was problem focused, and I focused on that problem every second that I could of every single day. When I learned to shift my mindset to healing, to self-care, self-nurturing, then self-love, because self-love wasn't in my wheelhouse and I couldn't reach that yet. It was learning to nurture myself and care for myself. Then that transpired into love for myself. That shifting the people's mindset to that. And I know it's not my job to do it. I can only encourage people to do it. So yeah, that's where I'm at. And you know, you're saying 3D world, 5D world, 7D world. A mentor of mine, she just says, we are multidimensional beings. Period. We are multidimensional. We do have a lot of power. And I know that to be a fact, because my manifesting power is amazing. I'm just learning to hone in on it. And that takes a lot of practice, a lot of focus. I mean, when you talk about focus, when you're manifesting what you want, it can be fun focus, but you have to be very consistent and diligent about it. So a solution as an individual for what's happening in the world, here's what I've added to my prayers in the morning, is I ask that there is more love expressed amongst the humans on this planet. Because I don't feel animals have an issue with expressing love, nor do the fish or the whales or anything else, the bugs, because I feel they are love. And I'm not saying that we need more love. The love is here. It's having humans express it more. So that's been my prayer every morning, is I ask that there is more love expressed in the human population on this planet. Because when I think we talked about this, that when we, when you word it in such a way, like, I hope people can express love, or the need for love to be expressed, things like that, is saying it's not in existence. It doesn't exist. But the fact is, we're all spirits and body. We're already love. Our spirit is already love. And that it be expressed, asking that it be expressed more, meaning first it starts with ourselves, right? We have to express it more to ourselves. And when we do that, then it automatically emanates out towards others. So that's part of my prayer as an individual. That's what I can do. Collectively, I can do the group every week for meditation.
That's awesome.
So those are my two solutions right now.
My solution would be to get into a very high state of energy and then fill yourself with that love, feel that love flowing through you. And if you don't know, ask, start asking those kind of questions so it can be shown to you. And then sending it out to the world. Just loving the whole world, because there's nothing wrong. Like we can sit and focus on all these things that we think are wrong. And it's like it's being blown up in people's faces. But I mean, really, I feel like I'll just go back to the same thing. I believe it's an inside job.
Yep.
And then if I feel we talked last week, if I wanted to create a revolution for me would be an energetic thing. It's about how do you want to use your energy on a daily basis? How can you take that? And that's being by divine guidance, honestly. In order for you to get everybody following along, it can't be a push. It can't be something that people have to do. And if it's something that you want to do and you feel guided to do, genuinely guided to do, then it's just from the space of love. And it's always from the space of love. It's not from frustration. It's not from sadness or depressed or anger or any of those things. It's not from any of that stuff. It's not. It's just a flow, because all those things that I just said basically cut you off from that flow, all of it. And if you're in the muck of those things, it feels pretty shitty. It feels pretty heavy. It feels pretty dense. It just reminds me of, you got the sand, and then you've got like all the air, the trees, and all this stuff, and it's like there's just so many different layers that everybody can be on at one time, and that's all right. It's still being in a space of loving everybody where they're at. If they're not able to be awakened to things, awakened, I don't mean awakened to all the crap that's been going on in the world, because there's a lot of crap, which we both know. We've gone through those little rabbit hole things, and it's pretty dense with the stuff that's been going on. But it's an opportunity. I mean, it really is. And it's like whoever's guided right now. We're all in a space. There's people right now that are on different levels. You got people that are one of the people that I follow calls them way showers. They got people that are going of the divine light, but you have to focus on yourself. The focus has to be yourself. It has to be. If it's not, then you're missing out on everything, because you can't just go help somebody. Now, when someone comes and asks for help, it's up to those people to determine, is this going to take me too far off of my path? Because my connection is the most important thing of all, period. That's it. And then you got people that are like, they're starting to wake up and start realizing that things could be different, that all this experience is making them ask for more. Like, what are you talking about? We'll just stop. I mean, I just won't work anymore. I just won't have anything on the table. So I don't have to worry about a checking account, close it. I don't have to worry about any of that stuff. You need something done? Okay, bring me a chicken. Okay, bring me a whatever. Bring me a 12-pack of eggs. Yeah. So there's so much solutions. I can't even remember which book I was reading, but it's like, no matter what, even if the monetary system was completely taken away from us, if you're in a mindset that things are always working out for you, in a positivity, in the flow, in the connection of your divine guidance, it doesn't matter how things fluctuate or change, because you're still going to be taken care of. You're still going to be fine, always. That's all I just don't, the other stuff just feels uncomfortable. So for me, this is just my perspective. This is just my feeling on things. People can call it whatever they want to call it, ignorance, whatever. For me, it doesn't matter, because my most important connection is not with another person. It is with the creator of all that is. It is with the universe. And if I love and honor that at all times, that love and honor is going to flow through me to everything and everybody around me and beyond. And then you take that into a meditation, and now you've just covered the whole world. You just blanketed the whole world. Maybe that day, there'll be less crime that day. Maybe that day there'll be less arguing. Maybe that day, I mean, I don't want to say that there'll be more exposure of stuff, because that's uncomfortable too. The exposure of all the other stuff. Maybe it doesn't have to be that way. Maybe it's just being in that space and creating, again, like creating your world. Like I wake up and it's like, it's back to the same thing. Man, today solutions are going to come to me for everything. Information is going to flow to me left and right. I'm going to remember it. I'm going to document it if I need to, if I feel guided to. I'm going to put it on YouTube if I feel guided to do so. I'm going to listen to my internal guidance all the time. And we're always going to be doing whatever is necessary at that time. There's not a place for fear in that space. There just isn't. There just is not. When you're divinely guided, everything looks different. And it's again, be like the eagle, I guess, and fly as high as you can and see everything from a higher perspective, like what's really going on. I mean, I can even break this down to like good and evil. I was talking to someone recently. I can talk about this as, if people can understand that as good and evil, there's some evil going on to distract you from the good, from the divine, from your connection. There is always going to be something. There always has been. It could be in a relationship, that you're in a relationship and you're giving all your energy to the other person because you love them, or you think you do, but you don't love yourself, but you're trying to get this person to change and do the things that you want them to do because you're trying to control them. Control shows up in your life. It's like everything is there for a reason. If you're going to the store, or you're going out in public, or you're catching posts and they're all happy, you know exactly where your energy's been. It's just that simple. It's just a matter of changing where that energy is going to, because you can still affect the change on all the things that you talked about, but it just can't be affected from that space.
Right. And you just said a word that I'm very familiar with, because as you've been talking, what came to me was, in my own journey, being in the low vibrational emotions, clear to depression, so shame, a lot had to surface within me for me to look at it so I could let it go, right?
Yes.
As that came up and I did my healing work around it and release it from myself, then I could fill up with good feelings, joy, love, all that. So on a bigger picture, what came to me, what I was seeing was the old, because I mean, our government, I mean, it just didn't start happening today. It didn't happen 4 years ago or 20 years ago. It's been going on for a very long time, that we are in a time, space, and energy that things are shifting, and more people are stepping into their own power vibrationally. We know that because there are many light workers teaching this stuff on the planet now. And for healing to happen, issues need to come to the surface.
Absolutely.
Buried issues, conspiracy theories, stuff that's been hush hush, the private stuff they keep from the people, right, is beginning to surface. And as things surface, it's going to get very unsettling, because I know for me, it wasn't easy to let that stuff come up and look at it. But now you're talking about millions of people seeing or witnessing this stuff come to the surface, and how each person is perceiving it and how they're processing it for themselves. Also, what is shown to you and the way you react is a mirror to yourself. So when you were talking and I was thinking about all of that, and then I was thinking about the IRS stuff, I was like, it's about control. I don't want to be controlled. That's why I'm in business for myself. I am self-employed because I don't want to be controlled by an employer. And that's that word just went boom. And I was like, oh, shit, here we go. Right.
Well, that's a good place. That's a good
No,
place.
it is.
It is, because
That's
it's
why I
just
can
that
laugh
control
about it.
thing. Yeah, no, it's freaking it's an awesome, there is nothing wrong with the stuff that we're going through right now, but it is just highlighting stuff. It is such, I've been talking about it. It's a huge opportunity. These things that trigger us, it's a huge opportunity, but it's just what you've talked about, learning a new language. It's like learning a new language so you can decipher it, because now you're not focused on being in it. You got to learn this language that you recognize that it simply is divisiveness within myself. Simply, I don't have enough trust in myself. Simply, I've been trying to control everything about myself. Whatever it is, I'm just using all these things.
Right.
I'm not using it for like putting any fingers on, or putting any fingers on anyone.
Putting your fingers on
Well,
it.
that either, but no pointing, no pointing fingers. This is a good place, and it's like it feels heavy because it's like everybody, it's not just the stuff that's coming to surface globally, it's the stuff that's coming to surface in each family. There's been so much stuff that's going on in families that people have kept their mouths shut. So it's like there's a lot of things that emotionally that people are dealing with right now, and it's like we're in a space because we're in such a huge shift right now that people are feeling this, and that's probably where the denseness or the heaviness that I noticed comes from, because it's like there's a lot of people going through a lot of stuff right now. But that's up to me again. We've talked before, and this is just a good reminder to myself and to everyone else. That means go take a break, go put my feet in the dirt, go breathe, go meditate, go do whatever gets me into that higher space so that I can see things from a higher space.
The other thing that just popped into my head was because I've actually my husband's a movie buff, and our TV's on all the time when he's home. So there's been a few times over the past week what I've heard in different either movies or shows that have said something to the lines of you're only as powerful as your weakest link. Right? We hear that a lot in leadership, that if it doesn't matter how good you think you are, you're no better than your weakest link. And to lift them up. So if we think about the people who do get caught up in burning the buildings, acting out in violence, things like that, like, what can I do for that person? And the solution is see them in love, see them surrounded in love, lift them up energetically through my visualization process. Does it mean that I'm controlling their energy? No, I'm shifting my perspective. Because going back to every one of us on this planet, let me say it one more time, every person on this planet is spirit and body, and we already have love within us. Spirit is pure love. It's already within us, but it's for me to perceive this person who feels like they need to burn somebody's business or destroy it or vandalize it, to see them from a space of love, and to know and recognize that they do have a spirit in their body. They do have love in their body, that they themselves have just been, have created space between themselves and that love, to because they're living in so much fear or so much anger, so much shame, whatever that might be. But I can perceive them in that space for them, for me, I can, and hold that vision for them. And what they do with that energy is their business. But as long as I'm focused on those assholes are out there burning buildings, or those assholes are telling women what to do with their bodies, or I'm still focused on the problem and I'm contributing the energy to it. Whereas I can shift my perception and know that spirit is within every person's body on this planet. So that's something else that as an individual that you can do, is to first and foremost recognize I already have the love within myself and get more connected to that, so that I can then use my new eyes to see the spirit and love in others, no matter where they are with themselves, no matter what acts that they are committing. I know that there is love within them. And to see through those layers of masks, of emotions, and see it and hold that space for them when they can't do it for themselves. And what's most importantly to be done is to hold that space for yourself. Because if you're doing for somebody else and not doing it for yourself, you're being a fixer, and that doesn't work well. It doesn't work. Let's put it this way. It doesn't work. We've tried being the fixers, right? So holding the vision for myself that my spirit is love, and I can raise that vibration as much as I want to at any given moment, and see it in other people.
See people coming together. So you're creating, if I'm creating my own world, I can visually see people coming, see the buildings that are burnt down and see people coming together and like smiling and laughing and having so much love in their hearts, and they're creating this new stuff. That's contagious. Also, it's not I love you, but unconditional love is unconditional love. Unconditional love is not I love you, but you're being an asshole. I love you, but you're burning down buildings. I love you because they're an aspect of us. I mean, sometimes, but I would just say that's in a judging space. We're learning not to judge because we've been judging ourselves so harshly. I don't know what journey that person's building that had a building burnt down. What were they on? Were they tired? Were they wanting to leave the business? What was their experience? It was in their experience for a reason, but their experience, like I talked last week, we can start talking about, it's not just about talking about our past stuff that brings things into our universe, our creation. But when we start talking about other people's stuff, it's bringing stuff into our creation. So it's like, it's almost like I posted on someone's page, like she said something about the government. And I said, well, that they're just using fear. But what if there's so many of us, because there is, that we join together, because we will, and we recognize that we no longer need these people. We don't need these people. We'll operate from a different space. We'll operate from a space of love, and that guidance will come through, and it will be guided. Will we make a new government? Perhaps. Maybe that's what it'll be called. Maybe it'll be called something else. I don't know. But it's just the recognizing that we don't have to put all this money out to these people. If globally everyone said, I'm not paying my taxes, guess what? I'll pay my state taxes, but I'm not paying my federal. Federal for what? For you to take it all away and spend it somewhere else? And that's not controlling, but that's me being, I'm deciding where my money or my power is going to go to, where my energy is going to go to. So there is such a power with everybody, and it doesn't have to be a fight, because there's nothing to fight. If we go into it with a fight, then we're going to have a fight. But if we go into it from a space of love and having an idea of what we would like to see, how, like, we can't, it's just like I've said before, if you got a school and they're not teaching science, what would you like them to teach? Science. If you don't like the way they're teaching math, then what math would you like them to teach? Vision that. Like, that's where you go. There's places that are opening up all over the place. I heard teachers are like they're like quitting their jobs, and they're actually starting homeschooling with all these kids and doing it the way they know that it's meant to be done, because they're feeling an obligation within themselves. And that's for up to each of us. We have our own moral compasses within inside of us, period. We know what feels good, or we know what doesn't. It's either good or it's bad in our perspective. It's so simple. It really is so simple, but it's like it's up to us to create that space. We can actually envision that space. I can see the people all coming together. And then it's like, what if these other people just like wake up and it's like they just feel such love in their heart? They don't know how it happened, but it's because we raised up. And it's up to us. But that's where I want to say they try to keep us distracted from that power. Because if they keep us in fear, we can't be in that power. Because then you're running on fear. You're running on trying to control things. But if we're in that power, things just evolve the way they should. Maybe we're exactly where we're supposed to be right now. Maybe.
Maybe.
And I say that we are, because I don't think there's mistakes. I think that we're on the leading edge, and everything is an opportunity. If I'm in a classroom and someone gives me a scenario, okay, then how could I see it differently? That's my classroom. This is my space I'm creating. If I'm a painter, I'm going to put it down on canvas. I'm painting my picture the way I want to see it, not the way somebody else wants to see it. I'm writing my book from my heart, not from somebody else's heart or fear.
You go, girl.
I just asked the creator to flow through. I have
know.
absolutely zero idea what we're going to talk about, and then stuff starts coming. I just don't even know. So I have my beliefs, and I've tried, and I, like a lot of people, maybe have second guessed themselves, but I thought maybe something was wrong with me because I saw things more positive. Once I found the secret, it's like, oh my God, I've been doing this all wrong this whole time, because I was taught in so many no words, it all probably mostly energy, that that's how you did things, that you worried about things, or that's how you controlled them. And it wasn't that way, but it's like, I just know I see things differently than a lot of people see them. And it's doesn't make me more special or different, or I just have a different perspective on it. And if it's a little bit helpful to somebody, great. If it's not to someone else, great. That's their journey, because I love you anyways.
Yep. And such a time as this, we were all meant to be here, right now. And
Yes.
there are so many light workers on this planet, so many, and it would be beneficial if we had more. And that just means stepping into your own self-love and emanating that out.
Yeah.
And it doesn't take work.
Yeah, no, that stops the separation right there. That stops separation. If you're I love you, but that's separation. But if I love you because this is just where you're at on your journey, and I can appreciate where I'm at on my journey, we're just going to grow from that space, because that's limitless. There's no confines, there's no restrictions. There's no, you have to do this or else. There's no parent saying, I love you, but you're kind of being a jerk. I love you, but, we've been all, I would say many of us have been raised with I love you, but.
Oh yeah. I
Yeah.
used it too.
Well, because we do what we know.
I don't
So
really like you right now. That was what I said.
yeah. But I mean, but that's what we learned, and that's all right, because we've evolved since then. We all evolve.
Right.
Most. Maybe
And
some are just more of a bit.
still practice.
Yeah.
Right. So so a solution, I would like to end with a solution.
Okay.
Have some self-love. Even if it's a little bit, that's a start. If you can have a lot of it, that would be awesome. But start with your self-love.
And if you can't get there, reach out to someone that helps you with people. I mean, there's people all over the place that are beneficial and helpful to help guide you. Always find whoever resonates with you. Just do it. Because this is your world. You can either live a miserable, unhappy life, or you can live a happy life. Thrive.
Yep. And as we said, earlier, when you have self-love, that automatically emanates out towards others. There is no work involved. It just is. It just happens. It just works. It's not an effort. It's not hard. It's not a problem. It flows. And that's where we want to be, is in that flowing state of love. And it unconditional. Just like Bev was saying, I can't look at myself in the mirror and say, I love you, but you got some wrinkles, or you got some rolls going on, or you got a big butt, whatever it might be, your feet are too big. That's conditional, ladies. I'm speaking especially ladies, because we've been conditioned to see ourselves in such a way. And so start with your self-love, work on and make that your priority. I almost started to say work on that. Make it your priority to have self-love. So I think we're good there.
Yeah. I was just gonna say the same thing. Like just for this next week, just practice unconditional love to yourself. Now, I'm not saying do it to anybody else. Look at yourself in the mirror, look into your eyes and at your soul, and tell yourself you love yourself. When you see something you don't like about yourself, focus on something you do like about yourself. This whole next week, when you hear yourself talking to yourself shitty, catch yourself and be like, yeah, but I'm doing a great job. I'm really figuring this stuff out. Life is always working out for me. This whole week, just make it your practice. That's it. That is all you have to do this whole week. Just practice unconditionally loving yourself.
And there's so much, especially if you look at the internal of ourselves, which is really miraculous, there's a lot to focus on. That's amazing. So
Yeah.
awesome. Brenda gives us a shout out too, says hi.
Hi, Brenda.
So thank you so much, my friends, for being with us. And if you joined us live in our Facebook group, we appreciate your time and energy. If you're watching the recording, we appreciate your time and energy. If you are sharing this with your friends and family, we appreciate that greatly, because the more people who hear what we have to talk about and feels that our information is beneficial, then the more people that know it, the more people are aware of it, and the more people that can make their own internal shifts on and be solution oriented. That's a goal. Be solution oriented. So if you see something going on in the world or in your work environment, in your home environment, great. Acknowledge what you feel is, or you're perceiving as a problem. Shift immediately. What is the solution? What is the solution? And that's something that I ask myself over and over and over. What's a solution? What's a solution? Because when we ask, the universe can then provide us that information. So thank you so much, Beverly, for being here. I love our conversations. I love that we can be in this space together and just openly have a conversation about anything. And it's amazing.
It's awesome. Thank you.
So my friends, thank you so much. And we'll see you next week. Have a great week.
Have fun.